Hello, my name is Steve, and today I'll be talking about something that's a good deal above my knowledge and pay grade, you may say. That is. Oh, sorry, I just leaned out of the camera so I could grab my can of rub. That is drug education. Now, I am not a teacher, educator, or anything of the sort. But we're also going to be talking about stupid teenagers, and guess what? I'm one of those. So I do have some knowledge about the subject. Now, I'm going to try to focus and talk about drug education, which would be, say, what's called abstinence only, which is like the dare, don't do drugs. Drugs are going to kill you. You smoke pot once, you're going to die. And then there's the other side, which is like informing the students about drugs and what drugs are more harmful and how to safely take the drugs. And it's kind of like sex ed. You know, when you have abstinence only sex education, the kids are still going to have sex, and they're not going to know how to have sex safely, so they're going to end up with a whole bunch of STDs and kids. Just because they were taught abstinence only and they didn't listen and they went and had sex because they didn't know how to use a condom. And now there's more kids and more STDs. But when you teach the kids about safe sex, you teach them about birth control. When you teach them kids, when you teach them about birth control and how to use a condom, then they're like, oh yeah, this is important. Or not that this is important, but more of them are educated and more of them are going to listen because they can still do it. That's what they want to do. They want to do it, but they're going to be able to know how to do it semi-safely. Of course, the only real safe sex is to not have sex at all. If you, condoms can fail and you can still have a kid. But it is a lot better than just no condom at all. And that is the same with drug education. Sure, bad things are still going to happen, but at least these children are going to know, these kids, or people my age, are going to know, like, oh yeah, this is how to do this. Like, let's take psychedelics. Let's say LSD, for example. If a kid wants to do LSD, they're going to buy some random substance off the street, and if they're taught their whole time in drug education by oh, don't do it, you're going to die, and real LSD is harmless, at least physically, then they're just going to take it, like, oh, I'm just going to take this. But if drug education teaches them, oh, if you want to do LSD, then you should test it and make sure it's real LSD, and failing testing it, you should spit it out if it tastes funny or if it's bitter. And there's the saying, if it's bitter, it's a spitter. Which will reduce, obviously the best way would be to test it, but that'll reduce the harm that would have been possible. I think it's, 25-INBOME is one of the really dangerous ones, which can kill you in as little as 2 tabs, which is an average dose. If it's not that specific compound, it's one of the compounds that can kill you in as little as 2 tabs, which is a fairly normal dose. At least when it's supposed to be normal LSD. So that's why it's so dangerous. So that's why you should test it and make sure it's actual LSD. Or at least something less harmful. Or if it is that, then you should know, oh, I shouldn't take 2 tabs of this. Maybe I should only take maybe half a tab, or at most 1 tab. And And the same goes for like every substance. You should be able to test every substance. If I had my way, drugs would be legalized, all drugs would be legalized, and there would be education about how to use them properly. And you could go to the drugstore, like a pharmacy, like you could go to CVS, and you could say, oh, I want to buy a test kit for this, whatever drug you want to try or do. And you could buy that test kit for not too much. And you could go and you could take it and you could test whatever substance you got. And you're like, yep, this is the substance I want to take. So you won't have the problem of, buying Coke and having it laced with Drano or whatever. Not laced, cut with Drano. You can buy your Coke and be, oh, this is cut with, whatever harmless cutting agent. Or it's not cut at all, and in that case, stick with that dealer. Or you buy MDMA, which is another one, which there's tons of things people sell as MDMA, which is not. MDMA is like one of the only things I remember the full name. It's methylene deoxymethamphetamine. Well, it's 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine. And so there's tons of things sold as MDMA which just aren't MDMA. And MDMA by itself, it doesn't have no body toxicity. It still does. It is an amphetamine. All amphetamines do have body toxicity. But, that being said, it's fairly low. And if you take it responsibly, say, you only take it once a month and, you give your body rest and all that, it's fairly harmless if you have real MDMA. But, people could be selling you meth. If you can't test it or you don't test it because you were never taught about, harm reduction, then it's like you just don't know, and you're, taking meth or taking whatever the hell else. And you don't even know it. And if you want to do, like, heroin, you test it and make sure you don't have a bad batch. And of course, in harm reduction, they should teach out proper doses, so you're not trying heroin and then your first time shooting up, you're ODing. I don't think that happens too much as it is, but still. And of course, with the more harmful stuff like heroin and meth, there should be still advisories against it, but not straight out, oh, you should never do this, you're gonna die the first time. Like, it should more be like, oh, if you get addicted to it, this is everything bad that happens. It should really be like that. And, like, I'm a super teenager, I've tried a good amount of drugs, and being honest, I've never tested any of them, but that's mainly because test kits are kind of annoying to get. You have to order them offline, and then you have to wait to get them. And, yeah, it's annoying. You should be able to go and buy a test kit at a drugstore or at a gas station or somewhere. So you should know what you're taking. Like, I've taken MDMA. Do I know it was real MDMA? No clue. I mean, I know it wasn't meth because, well, it didn't feel like I smoked meth. I've never smoked meth or snorted or I've never done meth, I don't think. And I'm pretty sure that would be the kind of thing I would remember doing, even though my memory's really bad. But I didn't feel like super hyped up like I wanted to go, and I didn't stay up for days or anything. So I don't think it was meth. But still, it probably wasn't real MDMA, because real MDMA is relatively rare. Especially because I got it off some kid in my school. I can't imagine that it's, good quality stuff. But, I felt good from it. It had the effects of MDMA. But was it real? Probably not. And all the coke I've done, well, who knows what it was cut with. I mean, it wasn't cut with Drano or something, because I mean, I'm still here. But, you know, it just as easily could have been. But, yeah. What I'm trying to say is that it should be like this. And if you want to do drugs, I'm not going to tell you not to, because it's not my business what you do with your own body. But I will say, I'll give you some advice that you probably shouldn't do drugs. I mean, obviously that is the safest begin. None of my business what you want to do. I will give you some advice that test it. You know, if you want to do it, that's fine. But order a test kit offline for whatever substance you want to do and test it. You know, you want to try LSD. Fine. Go ahead. You know, do research about when's the right time to do it. You know, don't do it when you're feeling bad or anything. And then, you know, do your research about set and setting and everything. And then order a test kit. Go buy a few tabs. Don't start off with a few tabs, but, you know, buy a tab. And then, you know, test it. Make sure you've got something legit. And then, you know, take it if it is legit. Failing that, if you get LSD and it's bitter, spit it out. Because that's not real LSD. That's about all I have to say. The purpose is I want things to be more safe for people. People want to do drugs, that's their own business, but they should do it safely. And there should be education on how to do it safely, instead of just anti-drug education. Of course, there's really no safe way to rub. I'm still going to get mouth cancer, but hey, it's my own choice. I know the consequences, and I'm doing it anyway. I'll see you next time.